Yeah, baby. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. Ah, la la la. All right, enough of that. Sleep. Okay. Hello, lovely witches. This is Dawn from Aurora Dawn. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I have something very special to talk to you about. It is magic found in organizing your stuff. Wow, this is really cool. I did not know that the author of this book I'm going to show you is very well known, and I had no idea she was kind of magical a little bit here. So I want to share this with you. For Christmas, Skip got me this book. I will show it to you. Let me turn my camera around. Okay, let's see. Can you see that? It's Marie Kondo. Konmari is the name of her system. And it's about tidying up. And of course, she's got the word magic in there. Ha. Yeah, we know all about that. So I read this book, and it's a real fast read. It's easy to read, easy to understand. She said she started organizing when she was like 5 years old. So she's had this lifelong interest in organizing her environment, and she got in trouble a few times as she was getting older. She started tidying up everybody's spaces, and so people couldn't find their stuff. But anyway, she learned a lot just from her own experiments and trying to uh, use different systems and see what worked and what didn't work. She read a lot of magazines. She collected magazines and read them because a lot of them had, how to organize and how to spruce up and paint your room and decorate it and stuff like that. She was very into all of that. And the interesting thing, the difference, maybe I should talk about the difference. If you're familiar with all the different other systems, some of them talk about, okay, every day you get something and throw it out. And she says, don't do that. Just do it all at once. And that's what I do, because I will go weeks before, oh yeah, I gotta get rid of stuff. And so I carve out a big chunk of time, usually on the weekend when I have a lot of time. Well, no, not a lot of time. You know what I mean? But I'm not obligated to like work and other stuff, so I can carve out some time, and I will throw out bags of clothes. Now, I don't throw them out. I take them to Goodwill. I'm very conscientious of that. I want to take them to Goodwill so that, it'll help other people, and, they can take care of them. She talks about going through in a sequence. First, you go through your clothes because they really are the easiest, for me anyway. I generally am not very attached to clothing, and I can easily get rid of them. So gifts, somebody will give me a sweater or a top or some socks or something like that. And so I start accumulating, and I forget, I need to get rid of stuff when stuff comes in. So clothing is the easiest. Okay, so I already got rid of a whole bunch of stuff and took them down to Goodwill. And so then she says to go on to books and papers, and then miscellaneous stuff, and then mementos. Um, Things that sentimental value. Those are the hardest. Pictures and sentimental items. So do those last, which is, probably a good idea. You get into the momentum of getting rid of stuff and feeling good about your space opening up and things being organized, and you can find where things are, and, you need something, you know exactly where to go to get it. She talks about categorizing things, put everything in the same place. So one of my things is putting pens all over the house. So if I need a pen, there's usually a pen somewhere very close by. So end tables, The counter, we have a counter where we write notes to each other, you know, make sure you pick up some milk or whatever. And then, you know, on end tables with my books, I always have pens with my books because I'm always writing little notes in the margin. So pens are all over the place. Scissors are another thing. I've got so many scissors and I've got them all over the place because I don't want to go walking all the way to where we store the scissors. It's just my thing. But she says you shouldn't do that. You should keep all the scissors in one spot, all of the office stuff all in one spot. So I don't know. I might have to part ways with her on that one. She said, now something that I disagree with. She says books, just get rid of them. No! No, they're my babies. She says, you know, if you have books that you're going to read, get rid of them. You're not going to ever get there. But the reason why I disagree with that is because the reason why you're not reading those books is you're not scheduling the time. So in your planner, you need to have a planner and plan for reading. I read in the mornings, and sometimes if I can't sleep, I'll read. And sometimes I just read for like a half an hour before I crawl into bed. So schedule that time to read. Don't buy any new books until you read the books that you already have, which is hard for me. And I think it's hard for a lot of witches because we love books. So she's pretty hardline on the books. So I disagree with her on that also because I use my books for references, for putting together thoughts and stuff in my journal, and for developing classes and courses and things like that. So I use a lot of my books and writing spells. I like to read books to kind of get some ideas. And so a lot of times I want to get ideas on what to say. And sometimes I get hung up on the words, and I really want the words to zing and really say something and really engage my emotional system, because that's a huge part of casting spells, is getting your emotion, the energy of your emotion into it. So I part ways with her on what she says about books, but I have to schedule it. I need to read those books that I'm going to read sometime, and just go out and do it and keep track of them. I have a spot in my planner to keep track of the books that I've read, and seeing the books that I want to read. So if I'm like, you know, I want a new book, I need to read a new book, and instead of buying a new book, I go look at my list. Oh wow, I've got a lot of books I still need to read. I haven't read them yet. So I hunt them down and I read them, and then I mark it off, and I can see progress. When you see progress, it makes a huge difference. It gives you the energy, the incentive to keep going and to do more. That's why you do the easy stuff first, like clothing. Get rid of your clothing. And once you feel how much lighter and how much more room and there's space, okay, so there's that. Okay, now I want to get to the magic that she talks about in here. That's really cool. And what is I think a deal changer maker. What really makes the big difference is she talks to her stuff. Seriously, she talks to her socks, rolls them up and sets them on end, and stacks them neatly in her drawer, and she talks to them. There you go, you've got your space and you got the room to relax. She says when we just cram stuff into drawers, they don't have any room to breathe and to live in your drawer, and they can't be happy because they're crammed in. So when you organize them, it makes them feel better. Okay, it sounds silly, but think about it. Think about it. We talk to our rocks, right? We talk to our plants, and they're technically not sentient, but they are, right? So why not my socks and my underwear? You know, what do you need? What do I need to do in this drawer to make you feel better? Okay, so anyway, I thought that was very, very interesting, and I wanted to share that because it can be an incentive to do better, to pay more attention to how things are organized. And I know from experience that when my drawers organized and it's fairly organized, and I do keep my drawers fairly neat and decent. I don't cram stuff in, but when everything is not, when it's not overflowing, when I'm not stuffing stuff in, I feel better. When I'm having to stuff my clothing in my drawers, I really don't feel good. And so paying attention to that and developing a relationship with your stuff. And the big thing with her, she does not do the, okay, you know how you make the pile of definitely, yes, I'm keeping, definitely, no, I'm throwing it out, I'm getting rid of it. And then the maybe pile, she says, don't do the maybe pile. If you're a maybe, put it in the get rid of. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Don't get hung up on, well, so and so Aunt Tilly gave it to me, or, it cost a lot of money. If you don't like it, if it doesn't bring you joy, if it doesn't really turn you on, just get rid of it. It's not worth the energy of trying to hang on to it and find a space for it, tripping over it or stuffing it somewhere. Just get rid of it to make the room so you can breathe. And so your stuff can breathe. And having everything in a spot, this is your spot here, this is your spot over here. It feels better, and then when you need to find something, you know exactly where to go to get it. So that's it. um Tell me your thoughts. Do you struggle with organizing like I do? And do you, or here's another thing. Skip is very good at putting things away. Now, bringing new stuff in, he puts it right away. He puts it away somewhere. And I don't know where he puts it. And sometimes he doesn't remember where he puts it. And so that's a problem too. You can be very neat and organized, but you're still hanging on to too much stuff. You need to get rid of your stuff. And so even though you walk into your house and everything's all picked up and everything, that doesn't mean you're tidy. So she goes on to say, even though you might have everything put away, you may be hanging on to stuff. And so to sit with it and really feel it. Does this really bring me joy? Do I really need this in my life? Does it spark joy? If not, it needs to go. And then tell it goodbye. Say goodbye. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you to Aunt Tilly for giving it to me. Or, thank you to the manufacturer for making such a quality product. Now I'm going to let you go to somebody else so you bring joy to somebody else because it's done here. And so talking to your stuff is something that is different. A lot of organizer people, systems don't talk about that. And I think that's where the magic is. Okay, so thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Do you struggle with organizing and tidying, or do you hang on to too much stuff? You can organize it and put it away and everything, but do you have too much stuff? And is it a struggle? Because for me, it's a struggle. So I'm learning how to do this. So thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. Do something today that brings you joy and makes you feel good. I love you all. And until next time, blessed be.